Will Ryan Tan Ong make money with his new property purchase? Let's check it out. Right, Ryan Tan actually needs no introduction. He's a very famous YouTuber. I myself follow him since the fucking good days. And now he's got Get ID and he goes on many shows like Ni Okay Ma. These are things I watch. In this video, right, and I'm going to react to Ryan's new property purchase. Right, I think he sold his old property last time due to his saga. Right, and now he has a new chapter of his life. And let's check out this property. Right, whether he will make money or not. Right, for those people who don't know me, I'm Mark. I'm a property investor on my 12th property right now. I used to be an MOE teacher. I left MOE during COVID and I went out to be a property investor. So whenever I look into properties, right, I have my key 7 criteria to see whether a property makes money or not, and I'm going to apply that 7 criteria on Ryan's property. So let's check it out.
Hi, what do you do for a living to be able to afford to rest on a Wednesday afternoon like this?
I'm trying to get into character. I'm actually a YouTuber. This character is Watermelon King, but he has since retired. I'm just chilling.
Yes, I know where this place is already. I know this condo already. And because the reason is last time, okay, I was doing a tuition teacher and I went inside before.
What were you looking at before buying a house?
I wanted floor-to-ceiling windows. I didn't want balcony. After looking at 300 over condos.
How long do you took?
8 months. This is the only condo that hits all the things that I want. I don't have a lot of money, so I have to be very prudent on what I spend.
Back then you bought it at?
About 2.3.
Yeah, I think he went to 300 over condos, or he must be super hardworking because he has a very specific requirements, right? Like you want floor to ceiling windows, no balcony, etc. Right? I think normally buyers won't visit 300 over condos. If I were an investor, definitely, right, time is money, right? I will not spend my time to look at 300. Instead, I will shortlist down to maybe 3 instead, right? That I think I want to invest that fits the budget, right? And I'll just go for it already. So I'm going to just jump straight to tell you, right, this condo has a very unique design. First of all, Ong already mentioned, no balcony, floor to ceiling windows. It's a very office vibey, right? Where you see glass panels after glass panels. There's no pillar between the windows, it's just full glass panels. It's very cool. The thing is that it has also a bit of office vibe. When you push the doors, they're super heavy doors. They have a very high ceiling height. One of the standout features is that it is very near to an MRT station, so it's going to be very convenient. However, the orientation of that condo, a lot of the units will actually get west sun, which is a hot afternoon sun, or they will get the east morning sun. If you're the kind of person who doesn't like that kind of heat, right, then this might not be for you. On the flip side though, it's going to offer you fantastic views. So if you are looking towards the west, you may be able to see MBS, but then you get the afternoon sun.
A car accident recently hurt my neck and my head.
Oh, this is very nice!
Actually, like a 3-bedroom, but I cut it down to 1 bedroom.
Wow, 3-bedroom cut down to 1 bedroom. Okay, he's doing this fantastic ID, right, just for his own needs. But I want to put a caveat here. Most of the time when you do that, sellers beware, it's going to be tougher to sell next time.
It's a very open concept and the view is amazing!
Yeah, see, I told you already, the view is the amazing part of this condo because it's situated on a bit of a slope, on a high ground, right? So when it looks out, actually it's a very nice view. I'm going to jump straight right into the property and the numbers itself. Will Ong Ryan Tan actually make money from this, knowing that he bought for 2.3 million? Let's go. Now let's start off with the location of this condo. Of course, for his privacy, right, I cannot share every single thing, but he did drop hint in the video where he can see the Siglap landed enclave, so that gives you an idea right now. This particular condo is very near MRT station that is along the east-west line. So here we have, it's actually a tenure of 99 years from year 2000. It's part of the D14 Bedok area, completed in 2005, and a total of 189 units. I'm going to pull up my 7 key criteria, right, to show you guys what I always look into a property, whether it makes money or not. And the first criteria, right, is actually transformation and growth. Why is transformation and growth very important, and what do I look out to say that there is a transformation? And this has got to do with the flywheel effect. You understand that most of the time, right, we need to start off with businesses, because when there are more businesses, it brings about more jobs. It means more people coming to the area, working there. There will be more demand for housing there. So it could be like tenants, it could also be like people who want to stay near their workplace. When people come to this area, definitely you need to supply them with amenities, right, like shopping, like F&B. And when this whole area becomes more crowded, more happening with F&B, and that actually brings in more businesses, because businesses want to situate in convenient locations, right? And it's convenient for their staff, which is also why you don't see businesses setting up in Pulau Tekong or Pulau Ubin, right? This actually drives more transformation and brings in more businesses, more jobs, and then you create this self-sustaining flywheel effect. So when I look at transformation, I always start off with whether there's job creation. Now, speaking of the east area, around the Siglap area, definitely if you look into the URA draft master plan, there is going to be like a Paya Lebar airbase transformation, and there's also going to be like jobs created in the Changi airport area. The thing is, to me, I feel Siglap is not close to any of those, right? And Siglap itself doesn't seem to have any more job creation. Overall, with transformation, I'll rate it as a meh. Now, moving on, let's come to the next criteria, which is the number of units. Now, you already know this condo has 189 units, which is really on the low side. But why do we want to have more units, right? For example, smaller projects, agents may tell you, hey, it's very exclusive, it's like your kampong. Then when it comes to bigger project, they will say that, hey, it's more facilities for everyone. But then we also hear that, hey, if you have more units in the project, it's going to be more competitive to sell, and maybe you have more dispute with neighbors. Exactly which one should you be choosing if you are a home investor, right? Should you be going for the smaller or should you be going for the bigger, right? So here my answer is this. Take a look at these two projects. This is Lentor Hills Residences and then there's Lentoria here. Both of them are very new projects and they are in the same locality. The difference is the number of units. Lentor Hills has close to about 600 units, Lentoria much lesser. So when we look into the maintenance fees of these two projects, you can see that Lentor Hills, the larger project, is cheaper at every single point, and that means as an owner you pay lesser maintenance fees, yet you enjoy more facilities. In other words, more bang for buck. I want to bring you to another location here, right, where you can actually see there are two projects, both of them freehold, both of them TOP in 1999-ish. That means age is not a factor, lease is not a factor, right? But the size of the project, one being way bigger, which is Signature Park, you can see that over the long term, bigger project tends to achieve a higher PSF, which means there may be more capital appreciation when you go into a bigger project. As a home investor, I will usually go for a bigger project and my cut-off line would be at least 400 units for a leasehold project. When it comes to freehold, same logic applies, the more the merrier, but it is hard to find such a freehold project because freehold land tends to be a lot smaller. Ryan's condo with 189 units doesn't really meet my criteria of number of units, right? Let's move on to the third criteria, which is the entry price gap. And I think this is one of the most important because whenever we buy a property, we want to make sure we buy at the right price that will determine our future profitability, right? So to do an entry price gap, what you need to understand first is that in Singapore, all the properties are on a ladder. We start off with BTO HDB being the cheapest, followed by resale HDB, then EC, then condo, then all the way to landed. Now each of them have its own category, and we know that if let's say a resale EC is a lot cheaper than a resale condo, then the resale EC may have more room to appreciate in price. Same thing, if the resale condo is cheaper than a new condo, then the resale condo may have more room to appreciate. So that's a gap that we want to look at. The thing here is that when we look at Ryan's condo, right, we want to compare the price point, which is 2.3 million, versus the surrounding resale condos. Do we get a better value there? Or maybe versus the new launches in the east area, do we get a better value there? So let's start off with the resale condo in the east area. I can share with you Park Esta. So Park Esta is right across the Eunos MRT station. And if you look at one of the latest transactions for 3-bedder here, this is actually going for $2.35 million. And it's actually on the top floor, so it actually has got high ceiling now. The actual floor area is less than 1055 square feet. Another transaction in June, 1023 square feet going for 2.388 million. All these sizes are lesser and smaller than Ryan's condo, but they are all 3 bedrooms. Now Ryan's condo is great because it has no balcony, so it's fully usable space. You see the huge living room, huge bedroom. There is still like a big kitchen with yard and utility at the back, that kind of thing. If you are going for space, then maybe Ryan's condo is for you. But bear in mind that it's already 20 years old now. Lease decay, things like renovation costs may be going to be a big factor, right? Ryan definitely spent probably a lot of money in like renovating his house because you can see the before and then you can see the after. So when we actually want to buy a property, we want to look at what is the overall price that we are spending, right? So if we buy 2.3 million into Ryan's condo, then we add in the renovation cost, it will definitely shoot the price up. A lot of people are thinking of that, and that's why they tend to prefer the newer condo. Functionally, you still get back the same thing. You are still going to get back 3 bedrooms, just that maybe you get lesser space and now you have a balcony. But not forgetting that Park Esta in Eunos is actually a more superior location than Ryan's because it's actually closer to town. The choice is yours, whether you want to go for older condo for space for the same price, or you want to go for newer condo, superior location, lesser renovation required, lesser chance of things breaking down, that kind of stuff, right? But Park Esta is not the only one. I can share with you Penrose. Penrose is about 5 minutes walking distance to Aljunied MRT station. It can also be said that it's in the more superior location because it's a lot closer to town. For Penrose, right, you can see that there is a 1184 square feet going for 2.43 million. And bear in mind, Penrose TOP just recently, so everything there is brand new. You have a 3-bedder for about 2 million. Maybe this is highway facing, so maybe cheaper. This is 980 square feet for 2.22 million. And you have this 1184 for 2.63 million. Generally, the price that Ryan paid is going to get you a brand new condo or very new condo in a superior location. So in summary, entry price I think is a little bit unsafe. And when you look at new launches today, you are able to easily buy a 3-bedroom at 2.3 million if you're going in the outskirts area. Next, I'm going to talk about criteria 4, affordability, and 5, which is HDB upgrader pool. If we are looking at a HDB estate that is like young and there's a lot of BTO, if they're young, right, they are able to take a loan. So what is happening is that they can easily buy the condo next to them. Better still, right, if let's say they are already sending their kids to a nearby primary school, it makes a lot of sense and a lot of convenience, right, to just upgrade to a condo nearby. When we look into the east area, the Sigap area, actually there are not many young BTOs to talk about. Closest that one I can find, right, is actually along MacPherson, which is called MacPherson Spring. Now MacPherson Spring today, 4-room flat is selling for about $1.1 million. And if you compare that to their purchase price in 2015, that's 10 years ago, their purchase price was as low as $400,000. So suffice to say, right, if they are successful in selling at 1.1 and if they bought at 400, they can be looking to like as much as 700k in profits. 700k in profits, assume that they don't want to touch any of their savings, right? They can use this 700,000 to down pay 25% plus the 5% stamp duty and all the other miscellaneous fees. You can work out to a purchase price of 2.3 plus million. Yes, you can then buy one that Ryan bought, or you can buy like Park Esta or Penrose or other options around that 2.3 million. I think this projects will still receive some form of HDB upgrader demand, so that is still alright. And now let's move on to the number 6, which is a good layout. Now I leave it up to you guys, right, whether you guys prefer an older project but bigger size and offering fantastic views, no balcony, but then maybe maybe you get the morning sun or the west afternoon sun. I leave it up to you guys. What I like about this kind of layout is definitely it is spacious, right? And if you're going for the new condos, you're getting lesser space, but I would say as a point of advice, make sure that the bedrooms are big enough to fit in a queen bed. That's my personal preference. When you can fit in a queen bed, it does mean that you can fit in a single bed plus a study desk. And what that is good for is for children, right? So when you're looking at selling to families in future, they will do this layout, this setup of a single bed and a study desk, right, for their kids. So if the rooms are too small, then they cannot do that, then it's going to be a no-no for me. Number 7, rental yield. So we can look at if Ryan were to rent out their property, a 3-bedder we're going to fetch about like 5.2k, that's one of the latest transactions, or 6k. So let's just say 5.5. What we're going to do is 5.5 times 12 over a year divided by his purchase price of 2.3 million. He works out to a rental yield of 2.87%, which is quite low if you ask me. And not forgetting, right, Ryan, he has already hacked down from 3-bedroom to 1-bedroom, right? Practically speaking, his chance of renting out, should he rent out, which I think very unlikely. But should he rent out, right, he may not be even fetching 5k. Now to sum it up, right, I don't think this will be a really good purchase because look at the 7 criteria, a lot of criteria don't hit already. If I have customers, I usually won't bring them to this condo to begin with. So if I think of it as a worst case scenario, right, is like if let's say I want to change my house, I want to sell, but I find it so difficult to sell or have no profits to sell, then of course the next thing I can do is always to rent out my property, right? And the rental yield in this particular condo is already low, so which means my worst case option is already a bad option to begin with. Not forgetting for Ryan's case, I mentioned he already hacked down all the bedrooms. And I want to just say that if I'm a person who really enjoy those views and going there as a homeowner, I just want to add one more point is that that particular location doesn't have a lot of amenities like coffee shops, like supermarket. If I'm going there to live, right, I also find it a bit inconvenient to live, just that it has an MRT station. Maybe that's it, right? So I think you can guess which MRT station it is. So let me know which other influencer or celebrity you want me to CSI their property purchase, whether they make money or not. Comment down below and see you in the next one. Bye bye.